on this night in history, we roast JFK. Guys, thank you so much for coming. This is the only show in Hollywood where Wikipedia and Netflix aren't just acceptable resources, they're actually required viewing.
I believe so. It was good research.
I spent hours watching Netflix. I spent so much time, and I found this out. Netflix has so many movies on JFK. It's ridiculous.
Like 14.
14 movies on JFK.
Netflix?
Netflix has 14 alone.
I believe 14. What do you got to say?
That's crazy. I watched a lot of Netflix. Do you guys ever notice this thing with Netflix, right? I hate this. If I'm ever watching a show that I really get into, does Netflix judge you too? In the middle of watching it, it'll say, do you wish to continue? Of course I wish to continue. You're Netflix. Why are you judging me? If you didn't want me to binge watch, you shouldn't have made all the friends available all at once.
Like a drug dealer asking if you want more cocaine for free. Of course I do.
Netflix, just like cocaine.
Out of all these JFK movies, most are about him being shot. Which is weird because we make one about Kim Jong-un getting shot and everyone freaks out.
I like that. I learned a lot of weird, interesting facts about JFK.
Go on.
I learned that JFK died like almost died like 3 or 4 times before he was president. Like he was a real sickly kid. He was in and out of the hospital. He had like colitis, which is a stomach disorder. He was on steroids constantly.
Do you need that vitamin C? Vitamin D? This is why I'm not healthy. He needed one of those to stay alive.
Brian, did you just admit that you need the vitamin D?
No.
Does anyone want to give Ryan the vitamin D? It seems like he doesn't get enough.
I do not. That's not good at home.
The other weird thing that I learned about JFK, like, he and all of his siblings were like super competitive. They had constant rivalries going, you know? And apparently, I just learned this, the Kennedys were in a constant competition to see who could die first. JFK didn't win. He came in 3rd. But he beat Bobby, so I'm sure he was happy with it.
We knew Bobby would stay alive for the longest, though.
It was like a couple of years, though. Wasn't fair, was it?
And he still won.
Oh.
Fair is fair. So, JFK got shot? Is that right?
JFK got shot.
Huh. We did Abe last week, so this is perfect.
This is 2 presidents in a row who got shot.
There's conspiracies on that.
There are plenty of conspiracies. You guys know all the JFK conspiracy theories about who shot him and who didn't, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Round of applause if you actually know them or if we have to explain them all. You're in between. Go for it. Tell them about who did and who didn't shoot JFK.
Okay, well, like people who are official smart people, like we'll say professors, I didn't read the whole article. But it did say
so not Ryan.
#1 conspiracy of the past that they've collaborated on and they think this is true, possibly. Secret Service gun went off and hit JFK in the head. It's really bad luck.
Like they think the Secret Service shot him by accident?
Yeah.
When they were trying to protect him?
Well, yeah, that's the irony in it.
That's ridiculous.
Why isn't that in Mad Men?
See, here's the thing. You know how I think Mad Men should have ended? Right? It's not ended yet, but here's why I say should have, because they jumped the shark on this one. But I always thought that it'd be really cool if the end of Mad Men was Don Draper writing that great line for Neil Armstrong, because it was all just on a soundstage, and then they never went to the moon.
Wait, what was the line?
I thought it'd be great if the end of Mad Men, right, imagine this, guys, like Don Draper's down and out, right? And they call him in on this big project, because you guys know he's been kind of drunk the last few seasons. And they call him in on the big special project right at the end. And he's been on the outs with Roger, and he's been outs with everybody, and they pull him in and they say, Don, we need you to be Don. And he's like, what's the project? He goes, they bring him into a soundstage, and he looks around and, oh my God, it's the moon landing being faked. And so Don goes into one of his amazing Kodak-like carousel speeches, real in-depth, and he finishes it by going, guys, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than me, it's bigger than us, why, it's one small step for man, but it's one giant leap for mankind. I just thought Don Draper would have written that.
I think he's just gonna jump out the window. That's gonna be the finale.
That should be.
It's not the real end. Don't be mad.
So there's plenty of conspiracies about JFK and about who did or didn't shoot him, and I think that a lot of people miss the point. You know, when they talk about whether it was the CIA or the mob or if it was an inside job, I think I'm a fan of Law and Order. You know, so I go on Law and Order logic, which is when somebody dies or somebody's killed, like you ask who had motive, right? Like what kind of motive did Lee Harvey Oswald have? You know, you want to talk motive? How about the ex-lover of one of his current lovers?
Oh,
you know?
shit.
Like maybe when he started screwing around with Marilyn Monroe, I don't know, Joe Dimaggio got mad? I just think the second shooter was Joe Dimaggio, guys.
They're all on your side, I can feel it. They're all on your side on this.
And if you think about it, right, take that one step further, Jeter killed JFK Jr. Right?
Okay, well then who shot Tupac?
Oh shit, I don't know. I think it's time,
It's
sir.
time to bring him up.
You guys
Ladies and gentlemen, the 35th President of the United States of America. I think that's about it. That's all.
That's all you need.
He did space race, Cuban Missile Crisis, Bay of the Pigs. Ladies and gentlemen, John F. Kennedy!
Mr. President, here, take my microphone. Thank you. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Very fine to meet you too. That was a terrible impression of me before.
It's not pretty good me.
That's more of
Jimmy Stewart.
That's a
Barry!
yeah. That's,
Billy Walberry!
I love actors as long as you're not Ronald Reagan. How are you two citizens doing this evening?
We're doing great. We want to ask you a couple questions, if that's all right. Three roast questions.
Are you all citizens all right with some questions? I hope they're not anything like McCarthy's questions. I'm not a communist.
That was one of the questions. We'll take it off. First question. If you weren't president, who or what would you be?
Well, based on the amount of promiscuity, I would say, I had during my tenure, I may have been either a male prostitute or a Playgirl magazine model. I feel like I have all your support for that. Yes, thank you.
I would definitely have bought that issue of Playgirl.
As long as I don't have to stand for too long, because my back will definitely start hurting.
So, Mr. President, you know, fantastic aspirations, the idea of being a male model. On that line, if, you know, they make pictures about everybody, they made several movies featuring you, based on you. If they were going to make another picture featuring you, who would you want to see play you?
Well, definitely not Greg Kinnear, that piece of shit. I would not have him play me again. And Katie Holmes was also terrible in that film. I guess I could go with either like maybe a Ryan Gosling or that man who was naked with the large penis in that film. What's his name?
I think that was Ryan Gosling.
No, not Gosling. He's with the penis. Yes, Fassbender. Yes.
They're talking about Carey from Gone Girl, but that's something else. So last question.
No, he's a homosexual, and
We'll talk that.
Right with those.
Yeah, no.
Black people.
This is
yes.
Hollywood. Okay, so last question. Do you think they'll make a season of Serial about who really shot you?
Well, if they did, spoiler alert, it was Adnan as well. He said he was in the library, aka a book repository. It's the same thing. So, yeah, I guess,
I'm so glad you keep up with the podcast. I'm so glad you keep up with them here.
Well, we call them radio, but yes.
I think that's it. Thank you very much. JFK, are we sitting over here?
President JFK, guys, thank you so much. Take your seat, sir. Enjoy. Just watch the cup. Ryan, would you like to bring out our first roaster?
A plastic cup. You know I'm president, right?
You know we're on a budget,
You're a
right?
dead president. That'll do. You didn't know he was dead?
Too soon. Too soon.
I'm sorry. Our first comic coming to the stage is Carey. He is a producer of Warp Zone Comedy at the Virgil, and January 20th he will be doing Comedy Store Roast Battle, much like tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Carey!
It is an honor yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you all for. By the way, I'm already here, so strap the fuck in. This is not a Be Nice to JFK party. We are here to celebrate the career of John F. Kennedy, and what a career it's been. Senator, war hero, president, patient zero for the HPV virus, and the shittiest thing to come out of Massachusetts that wasn't in Good Will Hunting. I think I've been looking for a comparison for John all week. I sound like fucking you. For the show, and I think the best comparison is you're like a bottle of fine whiskey. You're refined, you're smooth, and you're the reason Marilyn Monroe is dead. The only thing you fucked harder than Marilyn Monroe was relations with Cuba, Jack. You're saying for somebody who never played baseball, it's pretty astonishing that your greatest achievement was stepping up to the plate after Joe Dimaggio already slid home. Oh, is he here? Marilyn made a movie called The 7-Year Itch. It was about her encounter with his nightmare, disease-ridden monstrosity of an Irish penis. Actually, I was talking to Marilyn backstage, and she was telling me about your signature move in the bedroom. It's called the back and to the left. That's for like 7 people, but it's really for 17. Your brother Ted wanted to be here tonight, but the door frame was not wide enough. Ted Kennedy achieved the impossible by being the grossest person in a family that spawned the haunted skeleton that is Maria Shriver. Every time Ted went in the ocean out in Cape Cod, they changed the name to the Bay of Pigg. Well, that's enough about the Bay. Let's get back to John. John, you did one term, you didn't finish, and now people won't shut up about you. You were the Twin Peaks of presidents. You are to presidencies what your son was to airplanes. Definitely ain't here. People forget that before Obama, JFK was the first black president. That's true. He was big on civil rights. He fucked a lot of white women, and he didn't make it out of Texas alive. Your mantra was, ask not what your country can do for you, but who in your country you can do. Your debate with Nixon was historical because it was the two biggest cheaters anybody had ever seen in a room together. People give John credit for starting the space race. Not true. He was just running around the White House telling secretaries he had a rocket in his pocket. Through all this though, I think we should give credit to Jackie O for standing by your side. Seriously, good woman, fashion icon, Tim Burton sunglasses model. You and Jackie started a family together. You had 2 beautiful children. What many people don't know, and I found out researching this, before those 2, Jackie had 2 miscarriages. Jackie O's pussy has killed so many Kennedys, it's in the mafia now. Yeah, I know. But seriously, Jack, you were the quintessential compassionate liberal. You worked hard. You always wore your heart on your sleeve. Unfortunately, Jackie ended up wearing your brain on hers. For somebody who's famous for being an alcoholic, you can't take 2 goddamn shots. Yeah, seriously though, the day you died was a national tragedy. I think everybody remembers, well, not us because we were not alive, but old people remember where they were, whether they were at home or at school or in LBJ's case, packing his shit and moving into your office. I mean, this is true. It was such a huge tragedy the day that John died that for the first time in their history, Disneyland did not open their gates. Yeah, even to a Catholic to find a way to fuck a bunch of kids on his way to hell. Seriously, I love you, John, and it's an honor to dress a shitty improv actor up as you. Thank you
Keith Carey, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President. You know, Mr. President, you really are a throwback. You're a man's man. You're a politician's politician. You know, you come from a time, unlike now, where we can have singers be politicians like Sonny Bono, you know, basketball players like Bill Bradley, and actors like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You came from a different cut. You know, in fact, I bet you had more maids before you were 17 than Arnold will ever have. If you think about it, I don't know if JFK could have been president in a time like this, you know? There's no way your scandals wouldn't have been front page news constantly. It's a good thing you didn't age because it just time wouldn't have been well. Can you imagine if you lost that whole head of hair, man? Who's taking you seriously then? Exactly. But I digress, sir. True story. I don't know if you guys know this, but JFK grew up to be Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, Benjamin Button to become you. Ladies and gentlemen, our next roaster was just named one of Comedy Central's comedians to watch. Give him a big round of applause, Jak Knight.
Martin Luther King, more like Martin Luther Queen, that nigga gay. Wait, wrong road. Okay. Here it is. JFK, he was the 35th president of the United States. Which is funny because that's exactly how many pieces of his skull landed on Jackie Kennedy's lap when he got sniped.
You counted them.
Yeah. He said that JFK was the first black president, which I disagree with. I mean, he did do a lot for black people. He progressed the civil rights movement by leading the Civil Rights Act in 1964 by disbanding discrimination with race, religion, and color. The Voting Act of 1965. He adored James Brown. He was the first president to dance with a black woman during the inaugural ball. And he still doesn't have the nigga pass. You know that? Still can't say it. It's crazy. Yeah, sex with Marilyn Monroe, man. Fair?
Did she say that?
No, she's very competitive. I found out that Marilyn Monroe is a very competitive actress. It's funny. You guys think that she's mad that Lee Harvey Oswald had a better headshot than her? During JFK presidency, yes, you. During his presidency, he was the president. His brother was a senator, and his other brother was the attorney general. They call it what do they call it? The Camelot era.
Some have called us Camelot. Yes.
Yeah. But Marilyn Monroe just called it her train phase. Am I the only one getting ooze? What did I do? Is the hat good? No. You guys, what does Shakira and Hitler have in common? They both have a higher IQ than JFK. I only wrote that because my friend Jaquan didn't know what IQ was. He thought it was a way to get your glasses. JFK was the one who started the moon race for the Russians, right? He was the first person to challenge the Russians to the moon race, and he died 6 years before we actually got to the moon. Not only did he not get to see the moon landing, his head now resembles half a moon.
It's a crescent, yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. JFK cheated on his wife a bunch of times. In the White House, actually, right? He cheated with Marilyn Monroe. He cheated in crevices, corners, even in the closet. He probably cheated so deep in the closet he found J. Edgar Hoover. Yeah, correct me on that one. More Kennedys have been tragically killed than people they've had killed. What's the line that love you say? Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. I think that's the best pickup line ever. Is it not? Right out of Cosby's book. Hey, listen, man, I really have to get to this though. JFK, this blew my mind. JFK was assassinated. Robert Kennedy was assassinated. Kathleen Kennedy, plane crash. Joseph P. Kennedy, plane crash. David Kennedy, drug overdose. Mike Kennedy, skiing accident. Jackie Kennedy, miscarriage twice. What is what is going on with your family, man? It's like your whole gene pool is going through a Final Destination movie. You guys should just got off the Ferris wheel when you first got. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, man. All right, thank you guys so much.
Jak Knight! Let's hear it.
2 Jacks on stage. Can I call you Jack? We haven't discussed it.
That's fine with me.
All right. That's good for you. I'm getting it, aren't I? Come on.
You're really popular. Look at all these people here for you, Jack. You could strive in this world. The president. You could have a podcast. You could have your own voice on GPS. Take a left at sunset. Make sure your car hood is down. That's what got me. So what? Were any of you there? That's what bugs me. None of you were there when you were. None of them were here.
Well,
When you were shot.
Unless there's any of those immortals out here.
Oh.
So our next comedian is H. Alan Scott. His credits include MTV, writer at Huffington Post, and Oprah said his name once. Ladies and gentlemen, H. Alan Scott!
Hey everybody! Hello, President. I'm sick, and so I was hoping I wouldn't have to actually like touch the mic. You know what I mean? So I apologize for anyone in the first row. I'm really drugged up. What did you do really? Like, if you think about President Kennedy, you think about Camelot. You think about getting shot in the head. Think about Marilyn Monroe, but like, what did you do? You said you liked a donut. We know that. The Ich bin ein Berliner. That was great. Really made The Simpsons possible. And you sort of reluctantly helped black people, mainly because your brother was like, Jack. Also, why do you have 2 names? John and Jack. Choose one. You don't get 2. I get that there's a thing that you can John and Jack, but like, that's bullshit. You don't buy the Jack just because you're a Kennedy and you can't. I'm sorry. A lot of my anger towards you, I have to say, comes from you having done nothing, but also because I feel very strongly that I'm gonna die alone because of you. Let me explain. So, before you became president, people had manners, and they courted people, and they communicated in such a way that was respectful in terms of sexual relations. And then everyone learned that our president was getting those little Massachusetts ding-a-lingy in your Boston cream pies out there, and you made everyone be like, well, whatever, we don't need to court, we don't need to have sexual respect for people, we don't need to be nice to one another. Example. I am on an app called Grindr. Inflection of the voice, should have told you that. On Grindr, men will be communicating, things will be going great, it's really nice, everything's going wonderful, and all of a sudden, just when you think that things are normal and you're going to go on a date, it's going to be actual conversation, he sends you his butthole. That butthole is because of you, President Kennedy. We've relaxed. Whatever. Because of you. Another example. I wear these glasses, right? But I have a problem. It's a disability of sorts. And sometimes, because I have a greasy nose as well, and from the Eastern European region, things get greasy up here, my glasses come to the edge of my nose, and I do this like, this nudging up thing, right? This nudging up thing. Before you became president in the 1950s, I would just be just a guy in the corner of a bar, just pushing up his glasses respectfully. But now, I'm a meth addict trying to eat my own face. You've ruined how people communicate, how people court, how people have. Is that the light? I can't tell. Is that how people court? How people like when you were with Marilyn Monroe, for example. Let's just talk about this. Did you do anal?
That is confidential.
So you did. And when you did anal, did you like grab her hair and like say my name? I mean, let's be real. You can be real with me. It's fine because I'm a gay homosexual and I've done it all. So.
You know, she called me Mr. President.
Oh. Okay. Did she call you that or that? You know what I mean? That's what I'm picturing. And then when you killed her, what did you feel like when you heard that she died because of you?
You know, I was relieved. As usual.
Yeah. And then, now in your afterlife, having seen that Greg Kinnear's played you, which is, you know, the height of shame, looking back, you're probably with Marilyn Monroe in heaven, or hell, or wherever you might be. I'm Jewish, so I'm going to stay in that little middle area. But do you communicate now? Have you had couples therapy? Because I mean, we all know that Jackie O left you in heaven. I'm like, she's gone. She decided, like, I got Onassis. Fuck you, dude.
You know,
Am I making you uncomfortable?
No, we're more like fuck buddies than me.
Oh, fuck buddies.
Yeah.
Okay. So President Kennedy, I have to say, because I think we all kind of want to know this right now. What do you think of OkCupid? How should OkCupid. I have there's a swiping left and right thing that's also on Tinder, but OkCupid stole it, and I prefer OkCupid because I don't want to base people just on looks.
It's on the app, not on the
yes.
I know about it, yes.
Oh, and you know app, you're very advanced. So you just went before me. So on OkCupid, those series of questions that you have to ask, I'm going to ask you some of them actually. Is believing in gay marriage a deal breaker? Actual question, I answered it today.
Believing in
gay marriage.
Believing in as a good positive thing.
Yes.
Is it a deal breaker?
Yes, that was the question. That was the question that a robot from OkCupid asked me, and now I'm asking you, Mr. President.
No, it's not a deal breaker. This is a place of opportunity. And if either it's a vagina or an asshole, that's an opportunity. American has the right to take.
You answered that incorrectly. It is, gay marriage is a deal breaker. Another question. Thank you. Well, okay, I'm going to leave you on this because I think it's time for me to go. I don't really know. I have one testicle, and it's because of a surgery that I had a while ago. And in your sexual sort of days that you've had in your life, when the woman took I'm assuming it was always a woman, took the testicle into her mouth, your testicle into her, unless you and Bobby did it together, your testicle into her mouth, what did you have her sing? What did you have her mumble? Because I only have the one now, so it's really important that I have a presidential song for that said caller to mumble.
Well, clearly it was the soundtrack to Camelot.
Oh!
My favorite.
What's one of those songs? Camelot. So it would probably be like, imagine that on your testicle.
I don't need to imagine that. I felt
Let's all do it together. Put your hands in your fingers. I'm not hearing you. That's all. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, thank you so much. I'm H. Allen.
H. Allen Scott, everybody. Give him a round of applause. Mr. President, on this, the occasion of your roast, this lovely lady is not only opportunist, but punctual. Mr. President, Marilyn Monroe. A woman about whom it truly may be said she needs no introduction. But let me just say, here she is. But I'll give her an introduction anyway. Mr. President, because in the history of show business, perhaps... Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
Sorry I'm late, Jack. Not that kind of late. You don't have to worry. Would you mind if I shared your cocktail? Thanks. Kind of ruined the punchline, but it's fine. Okay. Hi, everybody. So, in honor of history, I'd love to sing you happy birthday. Okay? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. And how you deal with U.S. Steel. Oh, we want to thank you a ton. Happy birthday, everybody! Join in, ready? To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Well, when they asked me if I would do this roast, I said, well, of course. I always come for Jack. Well, everyone, give it up for your comments. They really are killing this evening, aren't they? I would be worried about hurting your feelings, but you've already been murdered in public before. Okay. Let's see here, what else? I love jokes. I just hate looking like one. That's something I actually said. Don't believe these Instagram models. Happy birthday, Mr. President. I guess all you really wanted for your birthday was a big booty hoe. Just like 2 Chainz. Except I guess 2 terms would sort of be the wrong rapper name for you because of that pesky assassination. We'll work it out. Ladies and gentlemen, to the world, JFK really stood for something. To me, JFK stood for just fucking Kennedy. Jack, you really do have a simple sense of humor. Even as a dumb blonde, I thought your Jack in my box and Chief of Shaft and oral office jokes needed a little punching out. I'm a diva, a movie star, a sex symbol. But even with all that, at least I was able to keep my head on my shoulders. Speaking of sex symbols, modern men, let me talk to you for a minute. Please stop calling your women dimes. A dime was me, a size 10. Your women are nothing but barely a penny. A joke about a size 0. Anyways, Jack loved my curves. He told me they were dangerous. But the dangerous curve you ever did wasn't me. It was that parade route. I'm a thick woman. By today's standards, I mean, I probably would have dated interracially. And even though you did some civil rights legislation, you really couldn't get the country to follow through. So the closest I ever came to sleeping with a brother was by fucking yours. Our love triangle really was a family affair. I guess that's sort of why your family, well, it was rumored that you had me murdered and framed it as a suicide. It seems kind of messy, doesn't it? I mean, had they just waited 2 months, you'd be dead anyway. Anyways, let's see here. I don't get these modern things. Someone's trying to text me and I can't remember. There we go. Oh, yes. Jack, you were a devout Irish Catholic, a man of faith. Even when you were being unfaithful, I still yelled, "Oh God, yes!" I told Jack that he would need magnum protection because he was such a big president. You dirty little mind. I was referring to bulletproof windows, not condoms. Well, everyone wants to focus as your presidential failures in the foreign department. But you were the best domestic affair that I've ever had. I'm not saying that, you know, well, what I'm saying is, had it been an American missile, we would have never had a crisis. Well, Jack was always brutally honest with me. You know, I wanted to do a sex tape. And he said he'd die before he did any scandal like that. Well, when I was mad at Jack, sometimes I did give him the American Girl special. Red, white, and blue balls. Ouch, she's right. Remember, Jack? No, but I dated other people besides you. You know, I did have an ex-husband, Arthur Miller. He's a playwright. Supposed to cheers. Thank you. Arthur Miller. He inspired things like Death of a Salesman, but you inspired literature as well, like Death of a President. I also had another famous ex, Joe Dimaggio. You know, and despite his successes as a wonderful baseball player, he still always did get jealous when I let you get to third base behind his back. Not a big sports crowd, I see. Yes, it is a historical roast. But you were married as well, to Jackie. Quite the royal couple, right? America referred to you two as Camelot. But it didn't faze me much, because when you were with me, you just came a lot. You know, Jack, I know that you loved Hollywood, and I did tell Lyndon that we should get someone to shoot you. Oh dear. Well, when I said shoot, I meant headshots. I mean, well, I can see how terribly confusing this got. I did mean photographer, not assassin, just so you know if anything got confused. Well, at least you had an understudy, right? What do you Washington people call them? Vice presidents? Lyndon B. Johnson. And it was great for America. You know, to have a presidential Johnson in the White House instead of up my white dress. But you always thought you were so much smarter than me. I mean, you were in charge of Washington politics or whatever. But you could take a lesson from Hollywood. You know, we use fake guns, fake blood, and most importantly, stunt doubles. And your conspiracy theories have more holes in them than an unproduced screenplay. Well, anyways, Jack and I have a lot in common. I didn't finish high school. He didn't finish the parade or his first term. But at least when we were together, we always finished. I know you were one of the most popular presidents, but our I'll have you know I make the popular page on Instagram at least once a week, and I've been a trending topic more than anyone in Washington. And, well, I've got 83,000 followers on Instagram, which makes my post-mortem legacy more prominent than any of these out-of-work Instagram models. Anyways, Jack, I'm gonna leave you with one thing. When I first met Jack, I told him that I would give him the best sex of his life. But it's really too bad, because what he needed was the best head of his life.
It's his turn to shoot back. Ladies and gentlemen, JFK!
Thank you. All right. Should I use this? No, all right. Nope. Well, this looks like, there's so much lipstick on this microphone, looks like my penis. All right. I want to start this off by reminding you all what I said in my inaugural speech. But just change it because I've been meaning to say this for a long time since I'm already dead. Here goes. Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And what you can do for your country is show me those boobs. That's a fine American right there. She knows. So I know a lot of you might be laughing at my accent. Yes, I did park the car in Harvard Yard. But unfortunately, when I took it out of Harvard Yard and drove it to Dallas, I should have taken a cue from the Pope as the first Roman Catholic president and put a little top on there because, well, we know how that went. Ryan Pigg. We have Ryan Pigg, everybody. One of our hosts. Your nickname should be Bear Pigs because your jokes were a disaster. I'm proposing an embargo on Cuba to be shifted to your quote-unquote zingers. We got Eddie Furth over here, another host of the show. Eddie, your bald head reminds me of Eisenhower's. But from what I've heard, you don't have his 5-star genitals. And your space rocket program works about as well as his. Not as well as mine, because I think like that. Speaking of space, not many of you know that the moon wasn't the only dark place I wanted to plant my flag. Marilyn, is your asshole feeling better?
What, Jack?
I wouldn't mind getting another peek at your grassy knoll. That's for sure. Thank you. Now, Eddie Furth, I want to just talk a little bit about you. Look at this guy right here. Huh? He's pale. He looks like Nixon in the 1960 debate. A mess of a human being. You look sicker than when I was diagnosed with Addison's disease. It's a rare blood disorder. You're a sick-looking man. Now, many people believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was actually not the man who killed me, and I am here to confirm that. I actually shot myself after I was told I would have to listen to Ryan Pigg tell jokes for 5 minutes. Now, some of you may know that I had back problems, but Marilyn, I can't imagine how you carry around those sacks of Boston baked beans on your chest. You have very large breasts.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I gotta say, staying with Jackie after porking Marilyn was difficult. Let's just say I was reliving the Cuban Missile Crisis every night in the bedroom. Less than an arms race, more like appeasement. I wish I could have been an isolationist in the war against her vagina. No, thank you. Yeah, Marilyn, I have seen your film, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. You seen that movie, everyone? It's true, gentlemen do prefer blondes, but especially they prefer blondes who keep their big trap shut when they're talking about, engaging in sexual activity with heads of state. But clearly, we found out how that went, so. You learned your lesson. Let's talk about some of the comedians we had up here. There were no Jerry Lewis, but they were comedians. H.L. and Scott. I did go to the bathroom after him, and believe me, that was worse than the gases I let the military use on the gooks in Vietnam. Call him Agent Orange Ass. Yeah, H. Allen, I served on a PT boat. You need a TP boat. He smells like shit. We had two other comedians, Jak Knight and Carey. Give it up for them. I will say the same thing I said to Hubert Humphreys when I met him at the Democratic Convention. Who the fuck are you? You two are about as unknown as the second gunman in Dallas. Nope, never heard of him. And Jack, I was disappointed that he did not thank me for his freedom. The Civil Rights Act, which clearly solved the problem of racism in this country. You guys don't have any problems now, right? Everything's great. So a little graciousness would have been appreciated. Or at least he could have shaved his mustache. I don't know if Jack got the memo, but they've already cast all the parts in Selma. You probably don't know that Marilyn actually came over to the White House after I got back from Berlin in 1962. She told me a more accurate statement would have been, Ich ein Big Wiener. Thanks for that, doll.
You're welcome, babe.
I messed that up. It should have been, Ich bin ein Big Wiener. But, you know. That ain't German out here. Speaking of that, Keith, from the looks of you, I guess you are the jelly donut. People said I look puffy after my cortisone shots. You must have back pain all over your body. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about my wife, Jackie Bouvier Kennedy. A lot of fans of her, a lot of fans of her style, but I must say she was a bit of a shallow person. She was. My wife is so shallow that she married a Greek just for free yogurt. My wife was so shallow that she did not know that I was shot because she was distracted by the brain stain on her new dress. My wife was so shallow that she had a miscarriage just so that she didn't have to look fat. Twice. Any fans of my vice president, LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson out here? He did some things. Carried on the legacy. Though he did not, I was the original LBJ, though, in the White House. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. Lots of blowjobs. I was one of several of the blowjobs, actually. Several. And you, I want to thank you all, the fine citizens of America, so much for all that you've done since I died. Thank you very much. We've continued my legacy of destroying communism in the 1960s. We beat Russia in the space race, and now that our space program is defunct and that's not on the table, we can only beat Russia in the face race, which is who can take the most selfies. We really know how to make a dead man proud. Thank you all so much, and God bless America.
Round of applause for JFK, guys.
He's played by Brad Gage, and you can see he hosts 2 different shows over here at Nerd Melt. Booze Cruise will be February 21st, and Sketch Melt will be February 5th.
That is correct.
I got it.
Good time tonight. Guys, thank you guys so much for coming out. Let's give a big round of applause to our comedians, Carey, Jak Knight, H. Alan Scott. Guys, the impeccable Heidi Heaslet. Let's hear it for them. Thank you guys. Big thank you to our producers, Samee, Junio, Guys, now our next roast will be January 31st. Saturday night, 9 p.m. right here. We're roasting Ben Franklin. Guys, just go on the roast. Keep whistling. Thank you.